Hi everyone, welcome back to another continuing education check-in. Today we're talking about a situation or the situation where a girl is being nice to a guy and a guy takes that as the girl liking him. And so we're titling this, just because she likes you just because she's nice to you doesn't mean she likes you. And I think this is super relevant. We're really excited to talk about this. And Sania, do you have any updates for us? Anything you want to talk about?
No, so I was just in Canada, so, I was just taking time with family. But I think coming back from being with family, it really helps me gain a lot of clarity on, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
And I do think that talk that I think I talked about last episode that I needed to have with serial dater, I think I kept prolonging it because I don't like to hurt people's feelings, but I think I just need to rip off the Band-Aid and sit down and just talk and figure out what he wants and what I want.
Yeah.
And, I can already tell it's not the same stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm, prepared for that, I guess I can say. If I end up having that serious talk with him, I'll probably show you guys my dating profile.
Wait, if you have that serious talk, you will show us?
Yes. Because then I'll re-download all the apps and stuff.
But that's if the serious talk doesn't go well.
I already know how it's going to go.
Wait.
I'm trying to go into it with, an open mind, but I already know how it's going to go. I've already had this talk before with my first ex, so, I'm really, unfazed by it. It's going to be oh, Sonia's ready to get married and settle down. He's going to be oh, but I'm only 25. I have to see the world, yada, 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 and that's it. Then it's okay. It's just, I already know we both don't want the same things.
Mm-hmm.
So, I already know how the talk's going to go. We just keep delaying having the talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just going back home and coming back, I feel stronger. And I'm all right, let's just talk. Who cares? Because he's very oh, we can't be friends afterwards. And I was okay, that's your choice then.
Oh, wow.
At first I was sad about it. I was what do you mean? We can. He's like, yeah, I can't be friends with somebody that I've liked. And I was what? I thought everyone does that. That it's normal to stay friends with the people that you've had feelings for and then they go away.
So I know the perfect person to talk about that topic.
Mm-hmm.
And she does want to come on.
Oh,
and I'm really excited to get Michelle on.
Yeah.
But I think girls think that you can go back to being friends.
Yeah.
And then guys are no, I can't be
friends. Which makes no sense.
No, I think both make sense. Because from the girl's perspective, you're thinking, okay, it's not that deep.
No, it is deep, but I just don't want to lose you because it's so deep. I still want you in my life. I still care about you.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a better way to put it. But then from the guy's perspective, they're oh, I'm just going to catch feelings again. And then I'm never going to, break out of the cycle. Mm-hmm. If I become friends with you, I don't want to just be friends anymore. So the feelings are going to lead somewhere. And then it's
I guess it'll also hurt because the chance of the girl getting picked up in a new relationship is higher than the guy getting.
Yeah, and if they're friends with you, they have to watch that. Yeah. And then also, I think the other side, if a guy doesn't feel that way, what they're thinking is they're just kind of hurt by the rejection. I think guys don't know how to take rejection that well. I
agree completely.
And so they're why am I going to be friends with someone who hurt me?
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Because they take it
girls
personally.
Take too much rejection. Girls are if he doesn't like your story or if he doesn't do this and that, they're oh, it's me. He just doesn't like me. So girls jump the gun with the rejection, and guys there's no shot. She just rejected me.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay, so to help me understand better, you said you want to date to get married.
Yeah.
And you don't think he wants the same thing.
I think he wants to date to get married. We have the same values, but I think the timeline for him is a lot different than for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm taking my female biological clock very, very seriously. And, not for any other reason, but just my own personal preferences. I just would like to do those things a lot sooner. I have a ton of friends getting married and, having kids. And I'm just okay, I think I'd like to at least, begin that process, sort of. I wouldn't want to just date and, forever and ever and ever and, because I know a lot of people that dated for, 10 years and then they go and break up.
Yeah.
And, I just don't want to waste that kind of time.
Yeah, and you think he wants to take more time than you want?
Definitely. I think especially... especially since he was a serial dater, so he never wanted to be serious with anyone in the beginning. And then also I think guys just mature a lot later than girls. And, we talked in, like, the past episode about, sometimes younger guys can try to be mature and step up, but this guy is my age, and he is mature, but I don't think he's mature in that way. Like, he's not ready to just, like, settle down and, like, like, create a life or create, like, a whatever. And, like, I think I would like to do that stuff.
So this is really interesting to me because you're on different timelines.
Yeah.
But so you don't think you should compromise your timeline if you meet someone who, like, checks out all the other boxes?
Because I have compromised my timeline before in the past, and, like, it kind of started making me resent the other person.
Oh.
Because it just kind of felt like, I don't know, we used to say this a lot. Like, in undergrad, I've heard people say this to me a lot. It's like doing wife duties at a girlfriend price.
Oh, shoot.
And I just don't think, I didn't like how that made me feel. So I don't think I'd like to do that again. I think the timeline is, like, the most important factor for me, and then I'll see that they're checking off all the boxes and stuff like that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you're going to have this talk with him soon?
Yeah, but I'm so scared to do it. I'm trying really hard, though, to keep this bravery that I got from being back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to, like, initiate this conversation.
Yeah, very, very hard.
So do you think...
And I just, like, I get very, like, sensitive when people get sad or, like, their eyes look like they're going to cry. Like, I fold every time. And I think this time I just need to, like, not fold.
So how do you bring it up? Do you say, hey, can we meet up and talk? Or are you going to, like, hang out and then you bring it up at the end?
So we've been talking every time we're, like, if we're texting or anything like that, or if we, like, he called me when my flight landed yesterday, and just, like, stuff like that, I'll just always be like, oh, but, like, when we stop talking, this is going to happen. Like, oh, can we still, like, do this when we stop talking? And, like, I keep joking about it. So, like, I know he's prepared and he knows the conversation is coming. And that's what he keeps trying to avoid. He's like, oh, but we don't need to talk about it. And it's like, no, we do need to talk. Because I think we both know where the conversation is going to lead to. Yeah. So I just need to, like, put on my big girl pants and just do it. And I've never, like, broken up with anyone or, like, officially, like...
Yeah. And
so I'm really, really scared. And I know you have to do it in person. I was thinking of doing, like, a text. I've drafted a couple of messages. Yeah. But I think that's inappropriate, so I'm going to... Yeah.
Okay. I respect that. I guess now I'm wondering, did you know... You had a sense he was like this, and he was on this different timeline, like, even when you were just friends. Yeah. And so why did you even entertain going out with him?
Just because, like, I think because, like, in the beginning, when you give somebody a chance in the beginning, you're just like, I don't know, maybe this is my rose tinted glasses time, but I just keep feeling like I can change people. Yeah. Or, like, oh, like, yeah, I know he says he's not ready, but, like, maybe when we actually start talking and he sees, like how super wifey I am and all the things I can cook and clean and everything, maybe he'll want to do it, Like, nobody just wakes up and they're like, oh, I want to get married. At least I think. Yeah. People have to be convinced. So I thought, like, I could just show him and then maybe he would want to do that. Yeah.
Did you show him any of those things?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think I just show it in, like, my regular day-to-day, like, life, too. Like, okay. I bake them a lot of sweets. Remember I said, like whatever I'm baking at home and stuff like that. And my house is always clean. I don't know. So I think I did show him. It's just you can't actually convince people. I think I went about it the wrong way. I started talking to someone and was hoping they would have the same timeline. But I think now, like, lessons learned, after I have this very difficult conversation, I think I have to figure out if somebody else has the same timeline and then figure out if I like them. Like, there's not really, like, convincing somebody. Yeah. So that's what I learned.
Okay. Yeah, and we should have an episode on how to figure out if you're on the same timeline.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, like, talking to a friend about that. Yeah. But I agree. I think it's important, and I think that's the right order that you just said. Yeah. All right. Let's jump into today's episode. So this happens a lot, but a lot of times a girl is nice to a guy that they're friends with, or maybe a guy that they don't know super well. They just met, and then the guy in that situation starts thinking that the girl's super into him. And and then the guy will catch feelings or make a move or do something, and they just kind of read the situation wrong. So we're going to talk about this whole situation, like what is the logic behind the girl's thinking, behind the guy's thinking, and try to figure out what is a better way to approach the situation. So when I was thinking about this issue, I was thinking, well, what is going through a guy's head?
Okay.
And I think to help me like understand what's going on, I'm sure like you've done this before, right? Well, I'm asking. I don't want to assume.
Okay, go ahead. Ask.
Oh, have you been nice to a guy and then they think you're into them?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it happens. It happens a lot, right?
By the way, it happens the opposite way also. I don't want to just like hate on like the guys. Sometimes when a guy is nice to a girl, she thinks he likes her, and maybe he doesn't.
Okay.
But obviously, 100%, it's way more. You know, when a girl's being nice, then the guy takes it the wrong way. That's way more common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in your experience, when you've been nice to guys in the past, how often does this happen? Or like out of all those guys?
Any single guy that I've ever been friends with, I think has like taken things the wrong way.
Oh,
like
man.
a lot of times, like it's like different to different degrees. Some people will be like all in just because I'm like, you know, we've talked about stuff in the past because I'm being too nice or spending too much time with them. But then there's also on smaller scales, like, you know, if I'm just being genuinely nice to like guy friends, they'll be like, oh, Sania, like, is there like, am I sensing a vibe? And it's like, and I've had to clarify and be like, no, like, this is just me being nice. Like, this is normal. We're just friends.
Mm-hmm.
So it happens like every single time, pretty much, I want to say.
I think you're right.
Right?
Because I've also done this.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times when a girl is nice to me, I'm like, oh yeah, like, I got this.
You got it.
And even last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I was showing you that text, and I couldn't tell. So, like, a girl that I would say we're friends texted me, and I couldn't tell if she was just being nice or if she was
like
being
flirty.
Yeah, being a little flirty. And so, like, I had to show Sania, and I think we agreed that she's just being nice. And I think since 2 weeks ago, I'm pretty sure like that's the case.
Okay.
But as a guy, it's super hard to tell because I think when a girl is nice to you, it feels like they're taking the initiative. It feels like they're invested into the friendship. And I don't think it's super common for guys to like just do favors for each other,
Right.
or
okay.
bake you something, or text you out of the blue just checking up on you, or thanking you for something that you did. It's not typical for guys to do that with each other. And so I think when a guy sees a girl doing that, they're like, oh, this is different than what I'm used to.
Okay, I didn't know that guys aren't like that with each other, because you always see guy friendships and you think, oh, they're so close, like they got each other's back and stuff like that. So I just assume that they have all this niceness. But the stuff you listed, like, I think it's really common for girl to girl friendships.
Okay, I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, you know, you'll text each other, you'll like check up on each other all the time. You will do nice things for each other, and like, you know, like if I'm at the store and like I know one of my friends really likes this lip gloss, like I'll buy some for her, just be like, oh, I thought of you. Because like girls treat their girlfriends how guys should be treating them. Like they treat them super nice and with a lot of love, because like you see them as a person like who's been through so much and blah 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 blah, like, so you treat them with like a lot of love. But I think when girls apply those same things to like their guy friendships, that's when it starts getting confusing.
Yeah, guys are a lot more simple. Are you familiar with how easy it is for guys to become friends with other guys?
I'm not.
So there's like tons of like reels out there, TikToks, where and they'll make jokes about this, but you could literally just be walking down the street, you could like head nod at a guy, and you're friends. Like that's all it takes. Or you're like walking down the street. You don't have to be walking down the street. You meet someone and you're like, oh, I like your shoes. your friends.
Okay.
And like the next time you see them, even if they're a complete stranger, you'll dap them up.
Wow.
Like you guys like each other's shoes. Or like you like their hair and you're
Okay.
like, oh, like I mess with your hair or I mess with your outfit.
Yeah.
It's that easy. Like you could be playing basketball and a guy gets a rebound for you, passes it back, he's your boy. And it doesn't go much deeper than that.
Okay.
So it's very easy for guys to become friends with other guys.
Mm-hmm.
And guys in general just like doing activities together.
Right.
It doesn't have to get deeper than that.
Okay.
So like playing sports or playing board games or just getting food.
Okay.
So and then the friendship usually stops there. So
Okay.
it's not like if they see something at the store that reminds them of their friend,
Yeah.
they're gonna get it. No.
It's not, so you don't, I guess guy friendship, don't you use each other though if you're like for emotional, like to lean on each other emotionally
No.
and for support?
Guy-
You always say you get good advice from your friends.
Yeah.
Are those girlfriends?
No.
Do guy friends not give you good advice? Like,
So I'm at a point in my life where I don't want my friendships to stop at that
Okay.
medium level anymore.
Okay.
I'm like looking for friends that, or I've already found friends where they are emotional supports for
Okay.
me. But I think a lot of guys out there, they don't have that.
Okay.
And like growing up, it doesn't even feel like you need that.
okay.
Like emotional support, okay, you have your family.
Okay.
And you just go back to your comfort zone and then you like reset that way.
Okay.
But I do think it's way healthier if you have good friends to talk to, ask advice
Yeah.
for. But a lot of guys don't have that.
Okay. So let's say for you, Ethan, specifically, because you do have guy friendships with deeper
Yeah.
kind of relations.
Yeah.
When girls are nice to you, are you still as easily like confused by their niceness? Or are you like, oh, they're being nice, but hey, my friend Jack is also nice to me in the same way, so it's okay?
Mm-hmm. I think I'm so confused.
Okay.
Because I think up until now, I wasn't sure if girls do the same kinds of actions for their girlfriends.
Okay.
So, like, irrespective of my relationship with other guys, when a girl is nice to me, it's still, like, to me, I can't tell if it's out of the ordinary.
Okay.
It does feel like it's out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Because I don't know that she's doing the same things for her friends, her
Okay.
other friends.
I do think on some level, though, it is also that guys and girls can be closer to each other than girls can be with their other girlfriends, for example. Like, my roommate has told me, like, that sometimes she found it easier to open up and talk about certain topics when she's talking to another guy as opposed to talking to me or any other girlfriend, just because it creates, like, a different kind of space. And so that's why maybe some of the things you said, like, you're like, not sure if girls do this for other girls. Maybe sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
But I think at that point that, like, that's romantic interest. Like, you know, like, that's not just being nice.
What? No, but you've said in the past, like, a lot of times when you become friends with a guy, you just want them to be like a brother to you.
Yeah.
And so I think you recognize that, yes, when you're friends with a guy, the dynamic is different than it would be with a girl.
Yeah.
And that's still good because they can be that brother figure for you. They can be a confidant. And you could, like, share about things that you wouldn't share about with
Other girls, yeah.
exactly. So it doesn't have to just be a romantic interest at that
True.
point.
True.
And so I guess my question is, how come you can't tell those kinds of things to other girls? Are you
Okay.
afraid that they're gonna judge you?
I think sometimes, like, I think even with your closest friends, I think sometimes there's certain topics that you just, like, I guess everybody knows, but you can't talk about them as openly because, like, let's say me and you both experienced something super traumatic, right? So, like, instead of talking to you about it and bringing up your traumas, I'd rather talk to somebody who's, like, healthy and who's never thought about something like that. because it's easier. So let's say, for example, as a topic, plastic surgery. I don't know about every girl out there, but I think a lot of girls, especially in my friend group, you know, have talked about it. And it's like a very common topic. Girls are always like, oh, I wish my nose was like this. I wish this was like this, blah, blah. And it's just like so common. So sometimes, like, you know, in like fluffy talk, I can be like, oh yeah, I want to get my nose done too, girl. Like, sure. But if I'm having like a serious talk about it, which I could have, like you said, like with my family or my brother, like it would be more like, oh, like, but why do we not like our nose? Like, you know, like it just turns into like a deeper thing. And it's easier to do that with a guy. Not saying that guys haven't thought about plastic surgery, but it's like not like an act of trauma kind of in their mind. It's not going to make them feel insecure that I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because like as girls, I also don't want to, you know, you should only dump it enough on the other person as much as they can handle. So if they're really sensitive to certain topics, like you want to try to not dig too deep into them. And so that's why guy friendships come in really handy.
Yeah. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. That was very well said. Huh. Okay. Yeah, so I think you can totally be friends with someone from the other gender and just want things to be platonic. But then usually, like, when that gets too far, then the feelings come.
Start coming.
And then it's like, oh shoot, what do I do?
Yeah.
Okay, so when a girl is nice to a guy, what is their thinking behind it? They just want to do a nice thing for them?
Yeah, I think like girls are kind of the opposite. You said how guy friendships are just, oh, let's just play together, it's easy. Girl friendships are complete opposite. They're so deep. There has to be a lot of history. There has to be a lot of time, and a lot of emotional bonds. Like, oh, you were with me during my breakup. You were with me when my parents were fighting, or when my cat passed away, or like whatever. So like girl friendships are totally the opposite. So when a guy and a girl are becoming friends, the girl's looking to make that emotional bond because she has that with all of her other friends. Right? Like she has that emotional connection, so she wants to be really close to you. And so that's why she's being nice to you the same way she's being nice to all of her other friends, because she's not looking at you at just like a friend who she's going to text to go play pickleball. You know, she's looking at you, if you're part of her friend group, she's looking at you like she would look at her other girls, like, oh, this guy's going to be there for me on a rainy day if I'm really sad about something. Like, so she's being nice to you in the same way that she's super nice to all her friends.
And when she's thinking that, is she aware that what she's doing is like confusing the guy a lot of the time?
No, not at all. Like, I think until I had somebody really like directly call me out. Like, oh, Sania, like you're sending mixed signals. And I was like, what? Like, how am I sending mixed signals? Like, my words are very clearly telling you you're my friend. You're my friend. Like I said, I'm talking about other guys to you, stuff like that.
Okay.
So like, you know, it's like, I was like, what do you mean I'm sending mixed signals? Like, I'm being very clear with my words. But he said that, yeah, guys perceive things differently. And like the same action that would be so normal to a girl is like, oh, like, is she interested? Like, that's how a guy would think. But no, off the bat, like in general, I don't think girls are aware that their regular nice behavior that they would do for their friends is confusing all these guys.
So words are one way to tell if she's like making it clear and saying that you're her friend. As a guy now, I'm trying to figure out, okay, if a girl is actually into you, she is also gonna be nice to you and like do nice things.
True.
And if she just wants to be friends, like she's also gonna be nice to you. So
lucky you have lots of nice girls around all the time, that means.
No, it doesn't. So like for the guys out there, how do you differentiate
between the two kinds of niceness? I think I would say this is like not an answer you want to hear, but I would say it depends on every single girl, probably. I think for me personally, if I like somebody, I'll be nice to them, but I'll be a little bit more shy. But with a friend, I'll just be like open, like, you know, like I am with any of my girlfriends or with my brother, like you said, like an open book. I can just tell you like all the grueling details like that I wouldn't bother somebody that I liked with. Because somebody I like I still kind of like in my mind, I want to be vulnerable with them, but I want to impress them also. I want them to be interested also. So maybe I'm not going to like, you know, show all my cards.
Bro, this is so confusing. So I hear what you're saying and it makes total sense. And I'm like, okay, I can see how I can use what you're saying in a lot of situations to figure out, okay, do they just want to be friends and they're just being nice? or are they actually interested in being nice? And like judging how shy they're being. And but I've been in situations where they do both. So they're very open. They will talk about like their past relationships, but then at the same time they're also shy. They're like they kind of don't talk about other guys at the beginning. So for example, like someone that in this situation, the girl knows that I know the other guys who are making moves on her. And she'll be like a little hesitant to talk about it. Because I don't know why, but then she will talk about it. And then it's like she's done both.
Could be that she's like a little bit interested then.
Oh man. So I think this like starts getting into why guys find it so hard to understand girls, because and you recognize this, there's so many nuances. It depends situation by situation. Let's try to focus on what we can figure out here though. So when it comes to words, what kind of words are you using to let a guy know that you just see them as a friend?
I think if I'm calling somebody like, oh, like you're like a brother to me, I can tell you anything. I know sometimes, we've talked about this before, like girls will joke about like, oh, like I would never date you, ha ha ha, but it's like a flirty, like tee hee hee kind of moment. But if I'm calling you if I'm equating you to my brother in any way, like you should just understand like that you are just like a really close, dear friend.
And then let's say you're meeting people for the first time, or you're meeting her friends. And she introduces you. If she only saw you as a friend, how would she introduce you?
If she only sees you as a friend, she'll just like, it'll be less of like a big show. It'll be like, oh yeah, this is Ethan, like but then let's say like I really like Ethan, it'll be like, oh, like this is Ethan, like Ethan and I, like it's more of an introduction because you're more invested in that person.
That sounded the same to me. You're just like more animated a second time.
Like if you like somebody and you're introducing them, like you'll try to like get a conversation going between them and your friends a little bit, because you want your friends to know them because you like this person, right? But if it's just like your friend like Ethan coming over, it's just like, oh Ethan, like here's everyone, like like go say hello to everyone. It's less hand holding. But if she likes you, she's gonna stay with you more. These are tiny those are tiny signs, and I think these don't apply to everyone, because I've been in situations where it's still confusing, and I'm trying to think like while we're talking like what makes it a little bit less confusing.
That is still helpful though, like in general, like it's good to go off that, but I think for me, I'm a little like still confused.
I don't blame you.
Okay. I'm gonna like share a story. And I'm gonna try to like not give too much away. And I'm not like I'm not involved in this story. I just know that it happened. And I want to like have us both try to figure out like what went down.
I like that.
Okay, so in this situation, like a girl that I was friends with became friends with another guy. They started hanging out all the time. And when they would hang out, then I would stop hanging out with this girl. And I guess at that point, like I stopped reaching out, and then so she stopped reaching out, but she's hanging out with him. So for me, it kind of hurt because I was like, okay, like it kind of felt like she was like upgrading. But then I was just sad that it felt like I lost a friend. And it was interesting to like watch their friendship dynamic at a distance. Because not only were they hanging out all the time, they were like a little like touchy-feely. Like when I would look at their Instagram stories. But then also like there was this time where this guy's cake mixer, or like KitchenAid like all-purpose mixer, like it broke down, so she lent him her mixer for like a month.
Damn. Okay.
And when I was like looking at that situation from the outside, at first I was like, oh yeah, she's super into him too. And like I could tell, like, just like as a guy, that he was into her. So I was like, okay, she's reciprocating. But then there was like this nagging thought at the back of my head, and I was like, what if she's just being nice to him? She sees that he's like lacking this mixer, and then she's like, okay, like, I have one, you can just borrow it. I don't need it all the time. And I was like, okay, maybe it's not that deep. And like, fast forward to today, I've heard, like, I've seen it also, but he got super infatuated with her. And I think it made her like super uncomfortable. But when the situation confuses me, because who lends their cake mixer to their friend for like a whole month? Like, that guy works in tech. He can buy 10,000 cake mixers to replace his old one. Like, I'm imagining when his cake mixer broke down, he hit up this girl and he was like, oh, like, my day is bad, like, this like thing broke down, and then she's like, oh, like, let me just give you mine. Well, that makes no sense to me.
I am gonna say, Ethan, in this whole story, I'm paying the least amount of attention to the cake mixer. Like, I don't see it as much of a sign as you're seeing it. I would totally give a cake mixer to a friend and be like, okay, like, here you go. I think if you see your friend has like a need and you think you can help them out, and it's not, let's say maybe that girl had a second cake mixer, a smaller one. So she can give this one, and as long as she has like her another one. You know what I mean? Like, she's not inconveniencing herself, but she's just doing something nice. She can give him a cake mixer. Like, I would give my friends like okay, for example, this like on a very small level, it's not to the level of cake mixers, but like, I don't know, do guys share clothes and stuff a lot? Girls share everything: clothes, jewelry, makeup, like hair tools. Like, the Dyson's really expensive. Like, girls will share everything because they're like, oh, like, it's a very unspoken thing. And all of my girl friendships, like, oh, what's mine is yours. Like, come in, take whatever, wear whatever. Everything. Like, it doesn't matter like how expensive this purse is. If you want to wear it with your outfit, you can go wear it. Oh, if this dress still has its tags on it, like, by all means, like, you can be the first one to wear it. So girls are very, very like generous, I think, in their friendships. I don't know, are guys not like that?
No. Like,
you would never, like, let's say your guy friend is trying out for a basketball team. He knows you have basketball shoes. He doesn't know if he's gonna like it or not yet, if he's gonna get on the team, and he needs shoes to try out. Would you, if he's just telling you this story, if I hear somebody telling me that story, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, I have some shoes, like, take them. Would guys do that? I'm not saying you specifically, like, would guys give you their stuff, or would you offer your stuff to guys? Because giving stuff, even though the cake mixer is a huge thing, like, that KitchenAid mixer is really expensive. But I think it would be a huge thing if the girl was like, oh, here, you take my KitchenAid mixer and maybe we can just bake together all the time. Or whenever I need it, I'll come over. Then she's using it as an excuse to spend more time. But if she's giving it to him and she's like, oh, like, don't worry, my friend has another one that we can use while you use this one. I think that's just like regular night. Like, I don't see that as like a huge sign.
Okay. So, I have a couple thoughts. And I think this is going to really help us now. So, in general, guys will not ask their friends. And also, their friends will not directly offer. And I think it's a pride thing. Because guys want to feel like they can provide for themselves. They don't want to take charity in general. And so, it doesn't even really come up a lot of times. Like, oh, can I borrow that? Like, I need this. Because guys don't want their ego to feel hurt. And so it can happen. It's not common. And so, like, for me, it would be really hard to ask a friend for that. I think I've gotten into a point now where I am willing, and I see that it's helpful, because otherwise I'm like getting stuck more instead of getting help and just making things a little easier. But then at the same time, guys in general are less prone to offering. Because they're like, oh yeah, like, okay, she's struggling right now, but this is just a bump in the road, like, he'll figure it out.
So you guys look at your other guy friends as you look at yourself. You're like, oh, like it might be hard, but
Yeah.
like he got this. He's gonna figure it out.
Exactly.
Okay. I think maybe all girls, we like baby everybody around us a lot. Like even our girl friendships, like even my parents, like my brother, like I baby everybody around me. It's like whatever you need, like let me take care of it. And so we also, because I also have a lot of pride and a lot of my friends do, so we'd never be like, hey, can I? You know, it shouldn't even come to that question.
I see. But they will offer.
Yeah, it'll just be like, oh, I don't know what to wear today. And it's like, here, try on these like 5 different outfits. And it just happens so seamlessly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if girls are seeing something that somebody needs, you'll just help out.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
But not necessarily in like, doesn't mean anything romantic. Like I would do it for a friend in a heartbeat.
I do think some guys are like very generous and they will offer.
Yeah.
But usually in those cases, they have like way more than they need.
Okay.
Like they have like 10 watches. So they're like, oh yeah, like why don't you just try on like some of my watches? Like you can borrow it, no problem.
Right. Okay.
But I think a lot of guys usually aren't in that situation. Like there's been times like I'll offer my stuff.
Yeah.
And then like my friends won't take it.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah.
And
so I do think for this girl and guy, it does speak to how close they are because she was able to offer something so big.
Yeah.
Which, you know, like a lot of people could get offended when you offer some things.
Yeah.
Like if you see your friend financially struggling and you want to offer them money or something, like people could get so offended. Like that's such like a touchy subject.
Yeah.
So I think they were just really close that she was able to offer such a big thing.
Yeah.
And he felt comfortable enough to accept it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. But in this situation, I feel like she crossed a boundary.
By giving him this thing?
Yeah. Because I hear what you're saying. It's the gesture that we should be focused on, not the actual object that she's lending.
Right.
But to me, the object that she's lending is it shows or it is a reflection on how much she cares.
Oh, also on just how much she trusts him.
Yeah.
Because she's giving him something super important, super valuable. But, like, you're allowed to care. That's the thing. Like, I have had. Here, let me say this.
Okay.
It's going to confuse you again, I think.
No, let's go. But I'm coming in back with my big guns. You know? I'm not going to let you guys get away with this. Okay.
I have had male friends that I've cared about way more than some romantic partners that I've had.
Okay.
That's
kind of crazy.
I currently have female friends that I love and care about way more than romantic partners. See how that's less crazy when I say that sentence?
Yeah.
But why can they not be the same? Like, I think as a girl, I don't want to say, like, I don't see gender, but, like, I really do see my guy and girlfriends equally. Mm-hmm. And if I can care about my girlfriends, you know, more than a romantic interest, I can also care about my guy friends and be closer and more intimate with my guy friends than a potential romantic interest. Because I think in my mind, at least, and this definitely not everybody thinks, I know when I'm, like, dating someone or talking to someone, I have, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, this could end. And so who am I going to fall back on when it ends? My friends. So that's why those relationships with my friends are so strong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get that. But this goes back to the fact that when, like, if those friendships get to a point where you're spending a lot of time together and they have, like, similar values or, like, lifestyle, then the feelings just come. Right.
And that's, like, the whole issue here.
Yes.
Because you can do it with girls, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I said that sentence that I'm closer to my girlfriends or I care about them more than I have about romantic interests.
Yeah.
And it sounds fine. It's like, oh, yeah, of course you do. Like, that's sweet.
Yeah.
But when I say the same thing about a guy friend, it's, like, alarming.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't think it should be. Like...
I agree. I don't think it should be, but there's, like... It's almost like we're fighting against, like, something biological here. Something that's, like, built in.
I'm really glad you say, like, you're saying that. I agree.
And because, like, just guys and girls are wired differently. And so if we're not careful, then like things will just happen. And so I think what I'm pushing for are like clearer boundaries.
Okay.
And the boundaries are not to like stop you from becoming close friends. The boundaries are to like protect you from hurt feelings or like
True.
damaged relationships when one person goes too far. And so I think when the girl gave the cake mixer, she's going too far.
Okay.
And in that situation, and this applies to many other situations, I think it's important for guys and for girls to, in a situation like that, providing emotional support versus providing like something physical, I think we can, first of all, we can separate that.
Okay.
Now, if we focus on the physical thing, if the guy doesn't have the means to provide for himself, then I think that's more fair game.
Okay.
It's still like, I don't fully like it because I think that if a guy needs something physical like a cake mixer, his other guy friends can
Okay.
give that to him.
Like, you think it shouldn't come from the girl.
And then he can get one for himself. It's not
Okay.
like he's gonna need a cake mixer. He can replace it. He's gonna need to get a new one anyways.
Okay, yeah.
Or if this is like something where maybe his cake mixer is getting fixed on the side, he can borrow one from someone else in the
Okay.
why does it have to be you? And
Okay.
and when it comes to like an item like that's like a big price tag item,
Yeah.
to a guy, they're gonna associate like, oh, this person is doing
So in love with me.
yeah, because this is such a big gesture.
Okay.
This is not like a stick of gum anymore.
Yeah.
Even though to you maybe it's like the
Yeah, yeah,
same.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
it's not to a guy.
Because we were saying, you know, treating your guy friends like they're your brothers. I would totally give my brother a cake mixer without even a doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
But I guess you're right. The thing is, they're not your brother.
They're not.
Biologically, there is like a path open for there to be potential interest developing and feelings developing.
Yeah, yeah.
Which you wouldn't have with your brother. You know, like, they're not actually your brother. As much as you can call them that,
yeah.
you're right. You still need to have some boundaries.
Yeah, and they can be your brother in other ways. I think that's what I'm pushing for.
Okay.
I think the main thing that you can get from a guy is going to them to ask for advice or just to be a listener for you.
Okay.
If you're going through something that you feel like you can't share with other girls,
Okay.
you still have to be careful. I think in situations like that, for emotional support, some things you give to your girls, and then
Okay.
some things you give to your guys.
Okay, fair enough.
But for your guys, you don't give them both,
Okay, I really, yeah.
right? And then
I like
even
that.
like with your guys, like you have to be careful. If they're just your friend, if you only want them to be your friend, you're sharing that stuff to them, but not like, it's not regular, right? It's
True.
like when you need to talk about that
Okay.
stuff, then you go to them.
Right.
And that way, like, you're getting the brother
Support, friendship, yeah.
But then you're keeping it at bay.
Okay.
And then when it comes to like the cake mixer, they're gonna get the cake mixer from their friends,
Regardless, yeah.
from their family.
Okay.
If they have no family, they have no friends. That's red flag. Like they
Then you don't get a cake mixer.
you should not be friends with a guy who has no other guy friends.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And if a guy has other guy friends, then their guy friends are gonna help them.
Okay.
And so even though it's like then I kind of sound like a hypocrite, right? Because how can a guy rely on his guy friends if we have this pride issue that we were just
Right.
talking about?
Yeah.
But I think in a situation like that
The
where
cake mixer, yeah.
where it's something important, and if they're really your friends, they're gonna offer. And if you had enough humility to take it from the girl,
Right.
you will also accept it from your guy friends.
True.
And if your boys got your back, then it should all be good. And it's important in that situation to put the pride to the side.
Right.
But I think it's just so dangerous because now look how this situation turned out. He caught feeling so hard, got so
Yeah.
obsessed, and now like their friendship is ruined.
Ruined,
They
right.
can't be friends anymore.
Right.
Because he's crossed the boundary so many times after that.
Yeah, I really like that.
Okay.
That distinction that you made, I think that's really good. And I think it'll be helpful for people watching. It's helpful for me. I'm like mentally taking notes. That's why I'm quiet. I'm like, okay. Because it's true. I think, as much as we want, like girls, as much as we want to treat our guy and girlfriends the same, they're not the same. They're not actually your brother, and you never know what the other person's thinking, how they're perceiving things.
Yeah.
So you should follow like these boundaries and like just certain things, like even for advice, like certain things that, you know, like if you're going to talk about like, can you bleep this out?
Yeah.
If you're going to talk about go to your girlfriends. You don't need to get that advice from a guy who's straight, who's like a man. You know what I mean? So like I think just distinguish between your guy and girl friendships as much as you want them to be equal.
I don't think we have to bleep that out, right? I think it's really healthy to have those conversations about like I'll have them with my guy friends, and I think girls should have them with their friends, because
but I think it's inappropriate if if you're going to a guy for or the opposite, because like I had that happen really recently. That's why I just brought it up, where my friend was like talking to me about like,
oh, that's crazy,
and I was just like,
that's
and he's
crazy.
Like, and he's straight, and like, you know, like there was a time in history like super long ago where like maybe we had baby tiny feelings for each other. So just when he was saying that stuff, like I felt uncomfortable. I was like, first of all, I can't give you any honest answers because like I'm not comfortable.
Right.
Like, and second, like, are you talking about this because you're trying to suggest something? Like I got confused. I was like, girl, I was like, why is he talking to me about this? Like,
guys don't do that. that's really bad. That's really bad.
Same with girls. Sometimes girls will go to guys for like advice, and it's just like, oh, like maybe just like, you know, like why are you knocking on a door that could lead to something that you don't want, you know? Just keep it separated. Talk to your girlfriends about it.
Exactly. Like if you're having with someone, going to someone else for advice is not going to be as helpful as communicating with the person you're having with and figuring out what works best for them. Like every girl is different, every guy is different. It's really bad if you're going to like your friend to ask for advice. Like if you just want to talk about stuff like, hey, is this normal, da 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 da. But again, I wouldn't do it with a guy, because why do you want to poke the bear? Like, why do you want to put ideas in his mind? Just talk to your girlfriends. And I think you said it really well. Like, if a guy doesn't have guy friends or family, and same with a girl, if she doesn't have girlfriends or family she can rely on, like that's also a super big red flag. Like, you shouldn't be her only friend or his only friend. Right. And by like not being the family isn't there, we mean like they're not close to their family. Like there's like some kind of broken relationship there. I think you're absolutely right. And so I think to wrap this up, I think that like if you're a guy or if you're a girl and your friend who's the opposite gender is being nice to you, I'm thinking the best way to go about it is okay, at first I was gonna say like if a girl is being nice to me, I would like ask like you and help me decipher it. But is that like maybe, I don't know, I don't think that's crossing a boundary, right?
I don't think that's crossing a boundary. If you're confused, and I think in general guys like look out for those verbal cues, and you know, and if you feel like you're starting to think like, hey, what if she likes me? Maybe try to spend a little bit less time together one-on-one. Like all this stuff that we said about, you know, guys and girls being friends, like, you know, keep yourself protected. Because if your mind is starting to have those questions, like, why not just like avoid the confusion?
Right. And that's a little counterintuitive, because if you like someone, you want to spend more time with them. Well, I think we're saying spend less time with them, and then you'll be more sure of your feelings. And if you still feel that way, then it's time to make a move. And then you will be able to spend more time with them.
But under like a different, like you're not going to be under the umbrella of friends. And I think that we've talked about a lot in previous episodes, like just make things clear. If you have those feelings, if you're certain about them, just make them clear. But don't misunderstand girls being nice to you. And girls be like nice, but in different ways, because guys are not like your other girlfriends.
So if a girl was nice to me in the future, I would ask Sania. I would also ask my guy friends. And if I was confused in that situation, I would just try to remember the details as much as possible, and then give it to like someone like Sania or like a guy, and they will help me to like understand what's going on better. I just wonder if like all guys have someone like that they could ask.
I mean, our DMs are open. You can ask us.
Yeah, that's true. That's
what we're here for.
Yeah. So like you can send us the receipts if like this is happening in the DMs, or just tell us the situation.
Yeah.
We can like, or just make sure to blur out whatever information you want, like names and stuff.
Yeah.
Do that and then DM us, and actually, yeah, that would be really great. We could help you with that.
Yeah,
for
use
sure.
us as a resource.
Yeah. If you do that, just give us as much context as possible. Otherwise, we'll have to, like, our advice would just be more general.
Yeah.
So be specific. But yeah, we would love to do that for you guys. You can find our Instagrams down below. So yeah, do that. Okay. Are you ready to close it out?
I think I'm ready.
Okay. Great. So we're bringing back Dapper Slap, and this is so funny because like my friends will just make fun of it. So like if something will like weird will happen, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Dapper Slap." But I think that I don't know. I think people like the name, and
yeah, I like the name.
So we're gonna go through a few situations. First situation, going to Cheesecake Factory on the first date. Dapper Slap.
I'm gonna dap because I'm from Canada. Cheesecake Factory feels like a fun first date spot.
Also a dap for me.
Okay, sweet.
And I think there are ways to like do Cheesecake Factory well.
Okay.
So I think you need to know what are the good things to order.
Right, that menu is huge.
Yeah, and a lot of people think like, okay, Cheesecake Factory, it's a chain restaurant. It's not ideal because I guess a lot of people have the perception that for a first date you want to do something nicer. But Cheesecake Factory has like some great food options.
Really yummy.
Yeah, so I love the avocado egg rolls. I think it's super popular in general, but I think that's like a great first date food because you can share it. And then like I think it's even fun for dessert if you stay there to like try different cheesecakes.
Yeah.
So
you can learn a lot about each other because it's such a big menu.
Yeah.
You can see what the other person likes, doesn't like, whatever. And then the dessert's great, and like who doesn't like dessert? Yeah.
Okay, I guess that was easy, but I know that is an unpopular opinion. Okay, the next one, buying drinks for girls at the bar. And I guess in this situation, it's like buying more than one drink.
For multiple girls? Or like for one girl? Like getting a girl drinks?
Oh. I guess I didn't even think that deeply into it. Okay, well, is it different for...
If he's buying many girls drinks at the bar?
Yeah.
That's a slap.
Okay.
Like that's like a no-brainer, I think, even for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
If he's buying one girl multiple drinks, that's still a slap. Maybe less
I
so.
agree.
But it's like, are you trying to get her drunk? Like, what are you doing? You can buy her a drink and then follow it up with water and maybe talk to her. But buying drinks, plural, is like a slap. I don't think you should do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think one drink. But then do you feel like... Do you even think maybe one drink... No, I don't know if I want to say that.
Just say it.
Like one drink is a slap because like girls will feel obligated to talk to you if you buy them a drink. But then I'm also thinking there's not another good alternative approach at the bar.
I mean, obviously it depends on the whole context. If you're just going up to a random girl and you're like, hey, let me get you a drink. It's like, what? Maybe talk to her a little bit first. But I think in general, like, yeah, you're right. There's not like a very good alternative approach.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it's like half a slap, like
like
this,
a little pat.
because I think the best approach is you approach someone at the bar, and if they're in a group, like you're interacting with the whole group, and then you're like complimenting them, like letting them know like why you're approaching them in the first place, but keeping the conversation light, like introducing yourself, and seeing if she's like open to talking. If she's like not open if she's with friends. It's
Yeah.
time to back off and not
Right.
even try to buy her a
Yeah.
drink. But then if she's receptive and like you started to talk, then like you can offer
Yeah.
to buy the drink.
And even, you know, sometimes you're just both standing next to, like, at the same area in the bar.
Yeah.
And waiting to order drinks. If you want to get her a drink, that's okay. But if she stays to talk to you and drink it with you, let her decide. Don't follow her just because you got her a drink. So I think that's why buying drinks for girls becomes a slap. Because
Okay.
guys get very persistent. And
Yeah.
it's like, just because you got her a $12 drink doesn't mean you own her. Like,
Right.
you know, let her decide. So yeah, half a slap is fine. I'm down.
Okay, but then would you slap the girl if she like got a $12 drink from a guy and then just walked away?
No? What?
Oh, wait. Okay, I
I'd
think
be
we need to
slapping-
talk about this.
I'd be slapping myself a whole lot. No, what? Just because someone's getting you a drink doesn't mean they're entitled to your time.
But do you feel like you're being rude?
Yeah, obviously you feel guilty afterwards, but
Yeah.
it's like a funny thing you laugh about later. Okay, sorry.
But then,
big girl pants on.
if you're not interested in,
You shouldn't accept the drink.
Yeah, wait, isn't that's what I'm thinking, right?
Honestly, yeah, like putting on my big girl pants, like
yeah.
if you're not interested, you shouldn't accept the drink to begin with, because obviously the guy is not just getting you a drink for no reason. He wants to talk.
Yeah.
It's not just like, hey, you look pretty, here, take this, and
Yeah.
never see me again.
Right.
So yeah, girls, I guess, as much as we love to take the drink and run away, and we all have really fun escaping guy stories.
That should be a new segment.
But maybe just, be a good person and just don't accept the drink. Unless you want to talk to him.
I know that's hard to do. Like, drinks are so expensive.
And also, it's just such a compliment. And it's like funny stories, like I said, for later. For that Sunday morning brunch catch up with your girls. It's like, oh, did you see when we lied and we ran away by saying this? And
Yeah.
But yeah, avoid that drama. Don't hurt other people's feelings.
Yeah.
Okay,
and then last one, picking someone up on the first date. So driving, picking them up. And let's say they're a stranger. I think it's different if you've known them already.
I'm gonna say I don't know for it. Like, it's like not a dap, but also not a slap.
I think it's a slap.
You think it's a slap?
Yeah, and this is coming from someone who's offered. Like, I've offered to pick someone up on the first date, but even though, like, I was just trying to be nice, on our first date, I think you should just go separately. And because I think it's so important on the first date to make the other person feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And so not to not have any chance of something going wrong and then they feel like they're stuck in your car.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's just...
I think this goes back to our first episode. We said pick somewhere close by to both of you. Like, a lot of times I have been picked up on a first date. That's because I don't have a car, and like usually the places we're going are really far. So it'll take me forever to get there.
Yeah.
So I think, first date, keep it a little low-key, a little bit local. So like you said, because sometimes I've never felt stuck, luckily. I've never had to phone a friend for an emergency and get like an escape, but I totally could see how that could happen. And if you're somewhere super far and this guy's driving you home, you're just like prolonging your like pain.
Yeah, I mean, if the date didn't go well and they drove you there, you should not be accepting the drive back. Like, just like get out of there, Uber back, call up a friend or something.
Yeah. So
don't subject yourself.
I think
to
I'll go with if you don't know them, if it's strangers, a slap. If you do know them already and you're not complete strangers, like, it could be a dap. It's okay. Even if the date didn't go well, it's like, all right, I can still drop you off.
Yeah. If the date went well, and even if you went there separately, like maybe she Ubered there or she walked there, you could take her back.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Well, I thought this was a great episode. I learned a lot.
Yeah, we were figuring it out as we were going.
Yeah, and I think we made some really good points.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that was helpful for you. We'll catch you guys next time.